So again, welcome for joining us on this webinar where we're covering the courses for teens and parents that Hindu University of America is offering. And this is an important time to get our youth involved in this dharmic mission. And we have different avenues for you and your family to participate together in this intergenerational project that we're under. And so as we get into this, maybe I'll introduce our faculty as they make their presentations or before they make their presentations, but we have President of Hindu University of America, Sri Gyan Vishwanathan, joining us today. So please, let me hand it to him. He'll give us some words to open. And if you want, it's always amazing to see the diversity of Hindus that join us from around the world. I'm in Los Angeles. If you can put it in the chat where you're joining us from, that's always a nice little thing to see. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being on with us. Gyanji, why don't you give us some context?
Okay. Namaste, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. So we'll be making recordings available to the participants here as well as others, so that the benefit of the content of this webinar is made available more widely than just the participants in this webinar. So having said that, the content of this webinar is very, very important, crucially important, because it represents HUA's commitment to engage teenagers and parents jointly in the form of courses that are addressed to both teenagers and parents simultaneously. Now, this brings up a question, a very, very critical question on which I keep getting constantly challenged. Is it possible for teenagers and parents to learn together? Is it possible? Or is it always better to separate out the teenagers and the parents? Okay. I suppose there cannot be a universal answer to that question. In some cases, it may work very well for teenagers and parents to be in a class together. And in some other cases, it may not work at all. So, at the outset, we must recognize that there is no single universal answer. As in all matters Hindu, there is no universal answer to any question, any such question. But I'd like to take a poll on this question. So, Ankur, if you could prepare a poll on this, right? We'd like to get a sense from our audience. The question is it good for teenagers and parents to go to a class together? Is it good? Is it workable? Or is it not good? Is it not workable? And Ankur will prepare that question set and throw up a poll in just a minute. But if anybody wants to offer an opinion on the chat box, you can type in a comment on this point. Okay, so I'll wait for here is the question. Ankur has thrown up the question. Just go ahead and answer the question, yes or no. And we'll see where the consensus falls within this small sample of participants in this webinar. So, any comments on this question from the participants? Please type it in the chat window. So, the adults need to be listeners. Okay, that's an interesting point. Sometimes the youngsters feel intimidated in the presence of adults, is it not? Depending on the topic, they can come together. It is workable as long as the presentation is relevant, engaging with real life issues. Yeah, that's a great point. And obviously we are going to challenge our faculty to always be relevant, always be engaging, and always be connected with real life issues. And I think the faculty will be representing that in just a few minutes here. I wonder if there are any teenagers on this in this webinar and what they would have to say about it. That they would have a different opinion. I mean, it's understandable that parents or grandparents think that it is a great idea for teenagers and parents and grandparents to work to learn together. But I wonder what the teenagers would say about that, what their perspective would be. Yeah, Sohi Sharma is saying it's a great initiative. It will help bring the two generations closer together. Yes, certainly that is our commitment. If these kinds of courses can generate the possibility of some new realms of conversation and dialogue between across the generations, new topics to talk about, new assignments to work together on, instead of being separated into our respective realms of interests and so on. In fact, that's our hope, that we are able to precipitate that. Okay, here's another comment. My daughter says that sometimes it is not good, as we may end up judging each other. Yeah, well, that's a great point. And I think as parents, or grandparents or uncles and aunts, I think we are often guilty of judging the teenagers as not mature enough, or not able to form impressions and conclusions of their own. We're all guilty of it. I myself am guilty of it sometimes. And the only way to counteract that is to recognize and be conscious of the fact that we are judgmental in some ways, and make a commitment that we will not judge them during the course, so that they can learn more freely without the fear of such judgment. Yeah, it's not possible. Tanjore Venkatraman is saying it is not possible, because teenagers feel that their priorities are different. You're more comfortable with friends. I mean, there is a lot of legitimacy to that also. So certainly the constituency of parents and teenagers whom these courses are likely to appeal to are the ones that are willing to experiment in this regard and are able to persuade each other to be in a class together. Okay, so yeah, you can't force it on a teenager, certainly, as a parent, and they're going to have to choose it. All you can do is offer it up as a possibility, and the teenager will have to choose for themselves. Now, having said that, and I'm going to challenge the faculty in keeping in view this particular difficulty of how teenagers and parents can learn together at the same time, and what will make the environment, to use a contemporary word, safe for teenagers. Because it's often felt that for teenagers, the presence of parents immediately makes the environment unsafe. So how are you as faculty going to deal with that? Okay, so I mean, with that challenging question, we're going to turn to the faculty in turn. Okay, you can use slides if you want. Speak about your specific course. Okay, and speak about what teenagers will get out of it, what parents will get out of your course, and what will they get together out of being in your course. I mean, together if they do participate in your course. Okay.
A lot of our courses are designed for that base rate of like $200. Each one is a little bit different, but each extra family member is $100, and you each get your HUA email address. You get logged into the LMS system, our learning management system, and so all the PDFs and course materials and Zoom links are uploaded. We're making this easy for you and your family to participate, engage, and learn in this intergenerational project. So as we go through our courses, we'll put information in the chat. Gyanji, if you wanted to say something, or should I jump into our next presentation by Dr. D.K. Hemahari and Dr. D.K. Hari on our Exploring Hinduism for Teenagers and Parents?
Yeah, just one comment I want to add, which is, we are, see, normally our courses are 1 quarter long. 1 quarter means about 11 weeks long. But in order to try to fit the schedule of these courses into the summer vacation, what we've done is we've compressed the schedule of these courses into about 6 or 7 weeks, which in our estimation fits into the summer vacation from coast to coast. Okay, we may not have done a completely thorough job, and there may be a class overlapping either on this end or the other end into the school, overlapping, into the school schedule. But nevertheless, we made every effort possible to contain these summer courses into the summer vacation interval. And I really hope that, these courses are picked up, and many youngsters can participate in these courses alone, with their friends, and also with their parents, and sometimes even grandparents. What are they doing anyway, right? So terrific. Over to you, Ankur, for the next.
Ankurji, before Dr. Hari takes in, I just want to make a small a second comment. In my classes, every time whenever I talk about historicity, some participant or the other quotes the course of Dr. D.K. Hari. That, okay, you should. So I think I should personally attend Dr. D.K. Hari's course. I think I keep hearing the reference very often in my classes. So yeah.
Very good. I think that's a great idea. Faculty also should.
Exactly.
We can all learn from each other.
I wanted to join his and enjoy the course.
Actually, that's what we were talking. We wanted to join Shantanu Guptaji's course and enjoy it.
Wonderful. That's great. Awesome. In fact, I could add that even though I'm the president of this university, I'm also a student, and I'm also taking courses in the university. Who said the president cannot take courses, right?
Faculty and student.
Yes, that's right. All right, back to you.
I'm taking courses too. And hopefully you will be able to join us at HUA and take some of these courses over the summer with your family. Let me introduce Dr. D.K. Hari and Dr. D.K. Hemahari, who actually had their own careers in business consulting and tech and all that stuff, but they earned their degrees, their doctorate degrees, together at Sri Sri University, and they started the Bharath Initiative in Civilizational Studies in the year 2000. And so they have been doing this work for decades. And as Shantanuji said, they've gained this reputation and credibility by publishing so much information, videos accessible specifically for young people. They've been teaching courses at Hindu University of America for almost a year now. We're glad to have them as part of our faculty. And Bharath, their initiative follows an interdisciplinary approach to researching from a Hindu perspective, and it provides an integrated narrative of the Hindu civilization, which they've been publishing and working with an Association of Art of Living. And again, proud to have them join us at Hindu University of America on an ongoing basis and opening it up to you. Let me hand it off to our esteemed faculty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kalyanji, and thank you, Ankurji, for inviting us to be part of this session. Thank you so much. And I'd also like to thank Shantanuji for a very nice presentation. It was informative, fast, and colorful. Thank you so much. And because Ramayana is so wonderful, the subject. Thank you so much. And getting on to our subject for the evening or the morning in USA, this particular course, Exploring Hinduism for Teens and Parents, we'll be doing it for the third time with HUA. It's a simple, nice course, basically for people to appreciate this beautiful religion, concept, continuing Hinduism. And as I said, the original idea was to bring it among the teens and parents, because Hinduism as a subject or anything on Indian civilization is not a dining table discussion. It is not a drawing room discussion, has not been, unfortunately, which it should have been. So the original idea was a year ago to bring Hinduism back into the discussion of the house. And so that when we have teens and parents come in, and grandparents also, there's some amount of overflow of the course into the house. That was the original idea of starting it. And when we did start teens and parents, there's a lot of questions whether it will work, whether if parents come, will teens come, if teens come, will parents come. I said, we will try. And we have had partial success in this. We won't say substantial success, partial success over the last 2 courses. And we are trying to build on this time. We'll make this presentation, a quick presentation in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, to start with, how many of you find these kind of feelings very familiar? Especially, you put a few Hindus, Indians, and especially Hindus into a very multicultural environment, and then immediately you find the confidence flying away, you find a disconnect with strengths, you find some inferiority complex tugging at your heart, you find that you're attracted more by the others' lifestyles, you're pulled in different directions, contradictory to your value systems, your family's value system, and you just feel squirmish many a time. You're unable to relate. You want to be a part of the modern, but then somewhere you feel, no, I'm from the ancient. How can I be part of the modern? And you really don't know your strengths. You feel disconnected. Why is this happening? Fundamentally today, you find the reasons being peer pressure when you move outside with people from multicultures. Then you also are carrying a burden of a distorted history, a mind that has been clouded with a number of myths about your own civilization, your religion, your tradition, your customs. And fundamentally, you're unaware of yourself. You're unaware of your family values. You're unaware of your tradition. And all of these actually, the history of the civilization have very sadly left you lacking in grounding in your roots. So these are some of the reasons why you have this feeling. It is not something that is really innate in you. It is something that has been thrust upon you in the last about 200 years or so. And it is something that we can very easily overcome. And how can we do that? One, we have to start seeing the bigger picture, of which we have been a very big part. A big picture in which our civilization has played the biggest part in the last more than 3,000, 4,000 years of history that is accepted by the world today, but not our contributions. What is accepted as a history of the world, yes, for 3,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years, but the contribution of our civilization has not been accepted so far and has not been made known so far. So that is one thing. Second,
accepted means we ourselves are not aware of it is the sad fact, because we have not been educated about it. So there's a systemic issue there. So that is what we need to overcome, and HUA is the right platform to overcome the systemic issue at an international level.
So with that, we have to understand therefore what our strengths are and the culture that actually binds us, which is a very strengthening factor as well. With this, we will be able to discern those destabilizing forces that are preventing us from reaching our own roots, that are preventing us from strengthening our own roots, from connecting with our own self. And if we are able to do all of this, we will be able to, one, regain our resourcefulness to think laterally. For this is one very unique quality of the civilization, and which it gets because of the Hindu nature of the civilization, the lateral thinking aspect. And you will be able to train your mind to do this kind of a lateral thinking with respect to today's problems. And that will help you strengthen your rooting. It will also help you gain more ground in today's world, as well as the world of the future.
So from a civilization perspective, we will not only be strengthening ourselves at our roots level, we'll actually be able to gain more ground. So exploring Hinduism is a fundamental to that from multi-faceted approach, which we will see now.
So some people say, you know, I find it very difficult to get my friends to convince people to come and join this course because they say it is something to do about the past, it is something about the ancient. No, it is to do everything to do to build you for the future. Because study of the Hindu civilization itself is like a stepping stone to sustained success. See, if you look at the past 2000 years, you will find in history, the world history, you will find largely it was a search for India by the West. And how do you see that? You see that by names such as West Indies, East Indies, Indonesia, even the color indigo. So all of these are based on the name India, which incidentally is a name which they gave us, not something that we gave ourselves. So if we have been doing something that people have wanted to come to us for, we were veritably the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And if we were so, then we definitely must have done something good. So this civilization study is actually a stepping stone that can help scale up your own soft skills to become relevant for the future. And when you become relevant for the future, what do you gain? You gain the confidence, you gain the dare, you gain a direction, and you gain that unique distinction that is needed for you to succeed in that future. So Hindu civilization study, unlike that of being a study of the past, is actually a study for your future. And what are we actually going to be studying when you want to get to know the Hindu civilization? You are going to study about its geography, why we are where we are, since when have we been here, why we do what we do as a Hindu civilization, if you from the past, from the overall history of the civilization, what kind of trade did we indulge in, what kind of, and how did this trade happen because of our navigational skills, and how did we live to sustain this prosperity for year on year, for millennia, and all the family values, the timekeeping aspects, the festivals, how did we celebrate them? How did we know that we have to celebrate this festival, Ramanavami, on such and such a day? And on Ramanavami, what did we do? What was the reason for celebrating Ramanavami on that day? And what did we do on that particular day? Which again varies from region to region, which we call Desachar, incidentally, along with the Kalachar of the entire civilization. Then what is the education? How did we educate? We just concluded a session on how it is the Hindu civilization that has actually contributed the present system of education to the world. And that system of education,
especially the Americas, which is called the Lancastrian system of education, is what the American system of education is based on.
And how that is rooted in the Indian system of education. And then how did we communicate with us, within each other? What kind of languages did we use? And what was the science in the language? And how did this science influence the development of alphabets itself world over, and the order and so on that you see in alphabets? What happened to it and so on. I mean, a whole lot of things. The Hindu civilization has been very influential in shaping the world, both in the sense of matter and in sense of mind. So what is this civilization all about? Because it's much more than religion. If you see, it is actually a continuum itself.
I think this is a powerful statement. It's a continuum, because when you say religion, we see it in the modern word of the religion. But Hinduism is not just bracketed to be a religion. It's a continuum across millennia.
That is why we have called it the Sanatana Dharma. And how do we know all this? For instance, I'll just show you one thing which will just, flabbergast you. Did you know actually we have 22? We spoke about Valmiki Ramayana, and Shantanu showed how beautifully Valmiki was a contemporary, and which is why that is alone an Itihasa. Valmiki Ramayana and Vyasa's Mahabharata are the only two Itihasas, actually certified Itihasas of the civilization.
Itihasa, meaning it thus happened.
But we've had 22 different ways of keeping history records. How many of them? What are these different records? These are the ones that tell us. But mind you, these are only historical records. Now, beyond this, you have your Shastras, you have your Puranas, you have your Sutras, you have your Samhitas, then you have your Darshanas, then you have the Veda, you have the Vedangas, you have the Upavedas, Upapuranas, which actually tell you about the way to live, about society in general, about principles, values, and so on. So amount of literature the civilization has produced, that is what is good, has actually, it gives us a picture of all of this, along with the records of the various travelers to our land, the various plunderers of the civilization. They have recorded actually a lot of things about our civilization. And it is from all this we are going to reconstruct this picture about our identity, our geography, history, all of this. And there are a myriad different topics and perspectives that lie within all of that. And we are going to, in the first course of exploring Hinduism, we are going to, just a moment, right, drag this, yeah. We're going to study it from 5 different angles. So in this 20 sessions within the 6-week summer batch that we'll have, we're going to be having 5 different units. So we'll start with about the land of the Hindus, where we'll cover the geography and the history. Then we will look at the various divinities of the Hindus. We normally say the 33 Koti divinities.
What do they mean?
So what do they mean? Who are those divinities? Are they that many in number? Who counted them? Where do they reside? All of that we will see.
Basically, we'll ask, where on earth are they? These 33 Koti divinities. Because children ask this question, where on earth did it happen? We look at the where on earth question here, literally.
So then we will look at the calendars of the Hindus, because many of you would be, if you're, you would be told that this is your Hindu birthday, this is your birthday, date of birth,
As per the
birthday.
Gregorian calendar.
So why do you have these 2 different dates and so on? How were we organized? Because many of you would be getting exposed to caste related issues.
We'll
So
deal
what
with
is
all
that?
the difficult questions, really there.
And then how has this civilization struggled to stay afloat so far for across so many millennia?
And come through successfully as the last man standing, really among the civilizations of the world.
So these
Successfully.
are the 5 different units that we will use to explore this as an overview. And then of course we have many courses following that you can take up. And like Hari said in the beginning itself, this has been actually a welcome move where we have had teens and parents together. The reason is to just bring them onto the same page so that they can talk the same language, they have the same view, they share the same vision of the civilization and the roots. Because sadly, today we can't blame the children alone. It's because the parents too are unaware. It's like about 200 years of disconnect of the generations that have come in the last 200 years. They've been disconnected from their roots. So we have to actually help the parents and grandparents as well discover their roots along with their progeny. So that's why we started this idea of teens and parents to bring them together. And we hope to see, we have seen many couples taking our classes. We have seen parents and children, grandparents and children. And we've also seen people with their dogs taking their classes as well because of their online courses. So in the comfort of their home. So we would really love to see you all starting, I think, July 7th. And I think Ankur can give you more details about the organization of the dates and schedule and so on. So thank you so much, Ankur and Kalyanji, for giving us an opportunity to talk to people. And if you have any questions, depending on how Ankur has structured it, we can take the questions.
Yeah, we'll take questions at the end, but thank you so much. That was so beautiful. You have Dr. Jayagopal in the chat dropping in that they took the class with their kids and they enjoyed it. You have some nice words of support, as you were saying. And it's also, you said it, HUA is the right platform to overcome this kind of Hindu, this word ethnocide that's been going on attempted, and we're still here. And HUA is providing this platform. Thank you for being a part of it and sharing this important course. And I dropped information about the course in the chat. It's Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Each course, we'll put it in there. Please link and take more than one. If they fit your schedule, take as many of these courses as you can. Make a summer out of it at HUA, Hindu University of America. Some questions. And one of the ones that comes up often, and what's the youngest age that people can participate and you feel comfortable with?
Though we have had children attending and picking up a little bit here and there, but if they are 13 and above, then they will really benefit fully from the course.
Great. Thank you for those answers. And maybe that's what we can do. If there's a question that all of you should answer, we can just go in a quick rotation. Yeah, anyone from around the world can take any of these courses. It's just a matter of the timing and making sure it lines up. So Meena ji, Vikram ji asked, any courses specifically about pride? And this is what I am seeing lacking across the board. I think all of our courses teach or have aspects of Hindu pride. What are we proud? Yeah, what are we proud of? What did we accomplish? How do we share it? But if anyone wants to jump in on this, how does your course instill or cultivate or encourage pride in our youth?
Yeah. No, I mean, like we showed, I mean, fundamentally this idea about exploring Hinduism itself is to bring back that confidence and dare. So it is to bring back the confidence in your roots and to be able to dare to emulate what your civilization has really lived for and the values it has upheld, and to bring back those good values and kind of society that Shantanu ji just mentioned. So it is to bring back the pride, and like somebody had just mentioned in the comment, that it is confidence that gives you the pride, and so it's all about building confidence and dare.
We normally use two words in our courses, Bharath Gyan courses. We use the word dare and confidence. Unless we have those two key words, you cannot look up as an individual, as a family, as a community, society, and civilization. It's two very essential things. And that is what these courses cumulatively add up to, collectively and cumulatively add all the courses that we offer and all our colleague faculty offer, so that we have this holistic idea of our Hindu civilization, not just in India or Americas, everywhere. It's valid everywhere as a human being, to be a better humane person, qualified person, capable person of taking large strides in this present world, wherever geographically we are. It's got value there. Certainly, yes.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so as we're closing in on the end, maybe we can go around with our faculty and give our closing pitch, closing thoughts. Hemaji, Hariji, how about your turn to make your last? We still have a few minutes, so like 2-3 minutes each if you want to take that time. You're on mute.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear us?
Can you hear us now? Okay, fine.
Yeah. See, fundamentally, our Exploring Hinduism, this particular course that we're offering in summer, is more like an overview of the civilization called the Hindu civilization, and in a simplified manner, in about 20 sessions, we will be taking different aspects about the civilization. So, and this is complemented by many of our other courses as well, which we have been offering through Hindu University of America, like the Hindu contributions to the world in the realm of matter, in the realm of mind. And we are going to bring in more on Utsav, why do we celebrate various festivals and so on. So all of these will kind of complement one another, and they can be taken in any order. So for example, people who have done the other courses, they can take this now to kind of strengthen their understanding that they've gained in those courses, while others can do this first to get a overview and then move on to the other courses. So they're all independent and they can be taken in any order. They just go to strengthen each other over the course of time, because fundamentally one lifetime itself is not enough to really understand Hinduism. So that's where we are.
And what we do in these courses, we offer it from an international flavor, from an international perspective. Because this is an international audience, it's an international university, and our students are international, faculty is international. So the perspectives have to be presented from that angle, which is what we do in this course. So as most of the students do, right?
Vikramji is saying you get knowledge from two for the price of one.
Certainly, yes.
Yes, beautiful. And I love how you supplement each other, you finish each other's sentence, you make the points. It's a beautiful dynamic. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you everyone for joining us for this special webinar on our courses at Hindu University of America for teens and parents. Thank you so much to the faculty for your wonderful work, for working with us, for presenting this information, for staying on and answering questions. This has been exciting. If you want to take a look at all of our summer courses, there's the general link. Please do enroll with Hindu University of America over the summer. We are on this dharmic mission. We want you to join us. This is not just a one-quarter endeavor. We're bringing people, as was said, from around the world for this mission, and let's get it to the next generation. We need the next generation to participate. We know, and we're actively working towards that. And thank you all for participating, joining. See you next weekend for our next webinar, hopefully. Otherwise, see you in a course at Hindu University of America. Thank you all. Namaste, dhanyawad.